Hey, what's up everyone? The Dan Sandwich here, and we are back in automation for another video, and then of course I'll be going to BeamNG.drive after I make the car in automation. So one of the unique things about automation is how you're able to build cars in lots of different eras, basically any year from 1946 all the way up to 2020. So I thought it'd be interesting that to, over the course of a couple different videos, building one car model and then like going from 1950 to 1960 to 1970 all the way up to 2020, basically the same car and updating it every decade going forward. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to build a car in 1950, and then over the course of a couple different videos I will be every video be advancing 10 years into the future with it, keeping the car basically the same idea, just updating the technology, updating the body, but kind of the same premise for the car moving forward. And my thought process behind what car to choose for this kind of thing is I wanted to build like a small, affordable roadster car, kind of like a proto Miata. Something with, like a 4-cylinder engine, convertible, fun to drive, not necessarily the most expensive car in the world or anything like that. But I thought that'd be a fun way to experiment with this idea of taking, one car and going forward into the future with it. So we got to figure out what kind of body style to choose for this one. Obviously, I'm going to be looking for a convertible to use for that. I kind of thought about using this body, but I did use it for the Barbie Dream car with the 4,000 horsepower engine. So I don't want to use that body again. But the choices aren't really that varied for this time period, of course. So let's kind of just see. Not really sure exactly what body I'm going to be choosing here. I want something that's going to be, again, small, fairly compact, but still going to have the ability to be pretty sporty. Let's see here. I know this might be a little bit too new. It's a 1955 body, but it stays in the same decade. I might be choosing this one because I think it looks pretty good for what we have in mind. But let's see what other options I have. This is like an AC Cobra. That would be a fun car to build maybe in the future though. But not necessarily right for this build. Although maybe, I don't know, maybe we could build an AC Cobra with a small 4-cylinder engine, something a little bit more tame than the giant V8 it has in real life. You know what? Yeah, let's just do that. Let's go with this kind of like Cobra body style and give it like a small 4-cylinder engine. Maybe not the smallest 4-cylinder, but something more manageable than the giant V8. Yeah, you know what? I'm good with this. Let's go with this. So keeping with the affordability nature of this build, let's go with a steel panel material. We'll go with a space frame for this, I think. Give it, a little bit more futuristic feel. But not like crazy futuristic, and I don't know. I feel like that's pretty realistic. Would it have double wishbone in the front? I'm not super familiar with cars of this era, but I'm gonna go double wishbone in the front, and then we're gonna go with a semi-trailing arm in the rear. And we're gonna keep it even zero quality because again we're going for affordability here. Let's start with the engine now. Again, I'm thinking an inline 4-cylinder engine. Maybe something like a 2.4 cylinder, but I want it to rev fairly high because to keep it with the idea of like a like a Miata or S2000. But this is definitely maybe a more American take on that idea, where we have a large-ish 4-cylinder engine. Still plenty of room in that engine bay because again, this is designed for the giant V8 of like the Shelby Cobra sort of thing. Let's decrease the stroke so we can increase the bore and get something that's gonna be fairly powerful, but something that's gonna rev pretty high as well. Or I might even just go with, I might even do this, just like a 2-liter engine. I think that's pretty realistic for what we're doing here. Yeah, we're gonna do 2-liter. It's gonna be 3.7-inch bore, 2.8-inch stroke. I feel like for 1950, it's gonna be a push rod. I think that's accurate. And let's go cast iron for the block and the head, and then cast iron crank, cast conrods, cast pistons, and no balancing mass. I don't think we necessarily need a balancing mass for an engine this small. So we'll see what's going on here. So it's just talking about the tires being narrow. Okay, yeah, whatever. That we can fix that later. Let's see. Obviously naturally aspirated because turbos weren't invented yet. We'll go with a single barrel carburetor. Or a single barrel carburetor with a single carburetor. Let's go with I don't know if we necessarily need a performance intake, but we'll put it on there and then maybe revisit that here in a little bit. Let's go with regular leaded gasoline, and then like a tubular header, and no first muffler, and then a baffled second muffler. And the engine does not work because the rev limit's too high. So maybe we do need the balancing mass just to keep, yeah. So we do, let's put the harmonic dampener on there, and then we can fix the valve flow issue pretty easily. But right now it's making 77 horsepower. I was kind of hoping that we could get it up to like 100 horsepower, maybe. I think that would be a good figure for this kind of car with this kind of engine. So let's increase let's stiffen up these springs and lifters, so we get rid of that valve float problem. Oh wow, this is a horribly inefficient engine. A horribly inefficient engine. But you know, gas was really cheap back then, I think. I don't know. I wasn't alive in the 1950s. But yeah, horribly inefficient engine. That's fine. This is fine. Okay, we're increasing the efficiency a little bit there. I'm not gonna worry about that too much. So let me tune this engine up. Get it to make. Hopefully, we can get it to make 100 horsepower. That's the goal. I think 80 is actually not bad for this kind of engine either. But yeah, let's work on this a little bit here. All right, we got the engine kind of tuned up here now. We are making exactly 100 horsepower at 6,100 RPM. I think that's pretty good for a car of this era, especially considering how small it is. It is one of the least efficient engines I think I've designed. 2.3% engine efficiency. I really don't know what kind of gas mileage this is gonna get. It's probably gonna be really horrible. Imagine having a 4-cylinder engine that is like really inefficient. That's just really funny to me, especially since it's only a 2-liter. But whatever, it's 1950s. It's a sports car. We're not necessarily worried about engine efficiency. Got an 8.9 to 1 compression ratio, cam profile 62, springs and lifters 93, 6,200 RPM, no aspiration again, or naturally aspirated. This is what we got going on here, and all of this stuff as well. Let's take a listen to how this thing sounds when we rev it up. I think it sounds pretty good for a carbureted 4-cylinder engine. Okay, so now that we've designed the engine, let's go and take a look at the car itself. I'm probably gonna mess around with the dimensions and things like that while I am designing it. But let's just take a look at the drivetrain. Let's go rear-wheel drive. Obviously, I think 4x4 would be kind of silly for this. A manual 4-speed transmission, why not? It says an estimated top speed of 111 miles an hour. That's actually pretty quick, I think, for 1950. Let's go with an open differential, because I feel like that's going to be, you know, appropriate for this era as well. Cross-ply tires, because radials really I don't think we're even invented yet. I don't know why that's an option, but whatever, automation. That's, you just do what you do. Let's go with sports compound tires. Let's widen those up a bit because the game said that we should. 14-inch rims, probably the appropriate size for this kind of car. Let's take a look at the brakes. We're gonna go with two. What does the 2LS mean? I don't really actually know that much about drum brakes. Twin leading shoe. All right, yeah, I think that's probably fine. So twin leading shoe brakes in the front. Obviously, one piston. Let's increase the size of those just to see what happens there. Obviously, a one or a single leading shoe in the rear. No off-road skid tray because we're not going off-road in this vehicle. It's going to be a manual soft top. I think that's appropriate for this as well. I really, really, really don't like the way that soft top looks in this, so I'm probably just going to be removing that once I get into the design phase. It just looks so bad. Like, the rear window is atrocious. I don't know. I really don't like the way that looks. So I'll probably just be making the top off version of this. For the interior, it's going to be a sport interior, and we're going to go with a premium AM radio. I think that's fine. And then we're going with manual rack and pinion steering. Let's go with the standard 50s safety on this one. Again, we're trying to keep it a little bit more budget. Standard springs, and then let's throw a sport preset on there. One of these days, I'm going to learn how to tune suspension. It is not this day. Okay, strong oversteer. So we need to figure out a way to increase the rear grip. Every car that I've made in 1950 or before, I've just had the worst time making it drivable. So that's another reason why I'm doing this, is I want to get better at making cars that are not like modern. So that's kind of the other goal with this build as well. So I'm gonna figure this stuff out, and then I'm going to design it, and then I'll meet you on the other side of that after I design the car, and I'll show you around and kind of show you what I've done, and hopefully I can get rid of most of these warnings. So yeah, I'll hang out. I'll be right back. All right, so here we have what I came up with. I called it the DS200 because of the 2-liter engine. And I thought it was like a nice, sports car name. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's a pretty decent design. I didn't go overboard with it. I've got this kind of, I think it's a cool looking grille design. I put like these fog lights in the grille. I thought that looked kind of cool. Got these nice round headlights up front, turn signals, all that jazz. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a pretty decent looking car. I tried to not make it too similar looking to, the Cobra that its body is definitely reminiscent of. I don't know if this is going to be a very good car. Honestly, I think I might have to rework this, but I'm gonna see how it does as is. It says the rear dampers are hard, but that's fine. It's a sports car. It's not gonna be super comfortable. It also says that the car's weight is making steering heavy. I don't know why this car weighs 2,600 pounds. I really don't understand it. I might have to change the panel material to aluminum, which I should be able to do, because it only costs $10,000 to make. So I might just do that and then see how it affects everything else. Yeah, let's just go ahead and do that, and hopefully it doesn't like throw everything horribly off. So if we go with an aluminum chassis, how much? What does that really change? It still says the car's heavy. It only gave us like 100 pounds off, but it was only like $1,000 difference. So I'm gonna keep it. I guess I'll just keep it aluminum then. But yeah, I don't know. I'm happy with the way this design turned out. I like the interior. It's tan with like wood trim and lots of chrome everywhere, chrome all the things. So I'm gonna export this into BeamNG.drive, and I'm gonna see how this thing actually performs. Again, like the testing and things like that, it's slow. It's still really slow. 13 seconds, 0 to 60. it's not fast at all. I don't know if I can really do much about that. Top speed at 94 miles an hour. I don't know. I might swap in a different engine as well. I might go with inline 6 instead of the inline 4, but we'll see. We'll see how it works out, and then maybe I'll revisit this in this same video. But yeah, I want this to be good. I want this to be a nice base, a good jumping off point to build off of, for the next, several decades. Because that's the plan, that's the idea. So if I have to put a different engine in this to make it better, I will do that. But for now, let's take this into BeamNG.drive and see how this does. Alright, so here we are in BeamNG.drive in the DSM DS200, and yeah, it looks pretty good in BeamNG. It sounds great. Like, I really like the way this engine sounds. It's a nice kind of burbly 4-cylinder. You can hear as I let off the throttle, there's a little bit of like burbliness. Burbliness? Is that a word? It burbles. Definitely not the fastest car. Again, only a 4-speed manual in this car. Again, top speed according to automation was only 93 miles an hour, but it handles really, really well. Like there's just a hint, just a small hint of oversteer, which I think is a good characteristic for a sports car to have. It's very, very stable. I just wish it was a little bit quicker off the line. I am also realizing now this body maybe a bit too big for what I had in mind. You can see we're going 98 miles an hour uphill right now, so I feel like it's got to be a lot quicker than the, obviously a lot quicker than the 93 miles an hour that it quoted it in automation. Going through the tunnel sounds pretty good. The brakes work pretty well, for being drum brakes. They're pretty good actually. But I'm just really impressed with the handling characteristics of this car. It's just so smooth, so stable, even at higher speeds. Really doesn't go out of control very easily. Really, I'm really happy with the way this turned out. I think I might still, I don't know, maybe for the Mark II, I'll put in an inline 6 or something like that. But for right now, I think I'm pretty happy with the way this car drives and stuff like that. Again, if it was just a little bit faster, maybe it would be better. But, for 1950, I don't know, it's probably pretty good. Especially for like $11,000 or whatever it ended up being, $12,000. Not sure what that equates to in 2020 money, or if that is 2020 money. It's kind of hard to tell in automation. They don't really make that super clear. Why am I going to the quarry? I don't know, just to go to the quarry, I guess. But yeah, it's pretty good so far. I kind of like it. I kind of like it a lot, actually. So let's see how this thing handles driving on a track. Probably will not be the fastest lap I've ever had at the automation test track, but let's find out. All right, automation test track in the DS200. Let's try this out. So through the first chicane. Again, super flat. This is just a really good handling car. I know I mentioned that a little bit earlier, but flat out through there, just a little bit of oversteer, but pretty calm. And then through this section here, bump on the brakes for this tight hairpin turn. Not a lot of drama there. That sweeping right-hand turn there. Already at a minute. And yeah, we're not even halfway through this course, I don't think. So yeah, this is definitely going to be the slowest lap I think I've had so far. But it's also the oldest car that I've tested so far as well, so maybe there's something to be said there. Yeah, it's hopping out at 103 miles an hour on the straightaway, hitting the red line there. Coming up on the sweeping double apex turn here. I know all these turns actually have names, and maybe I should learn them for as often as I'm going to be doing this track. Oh, a little bit of a tail coming out there, but that's to be expected for how fast I was going. Still didn't spin it out or anything like that, so that's good. Alright, let's see about these brakes here again. I'm not really going all that fast. I don't really need to step on the brakes too much, which is good. Alright, coming upon... I don't know. Again, I should probably learn all the names of these turns here. And I just realized I think there's signs that actually tell me what the names of the turns are, but whatever. Yeah, it's slow. It's definitely slow. We're already at 2 minutes 30 seconds, which I think would already make it the slowest car I've tested. But again, that's fine. That's what we expected here. This is the last turn. Going over the rumble strips a little bit there. Come on! Power! Alright, 254.19. Yeah, definitely the slowest car that I've tested so far. So, slower than the Barbie Dream car, actually. But this only has, what, like 3% of the horsepower of that car. But yeah, it's an old car, so I guess I didn't really expect it to be that much faster than anything else. But it handles really nicely, so at least there's that. Alright, so this is gonna be the slowest drag race I've done as well. So let's go to the drag strip. I do really like the way that engine sounds. This is good. Alright, anyway, let's get going here at the drag strip. It's gonna take a while to get to the end of the quarter mile, I think. But let's go. A little bit of, hop there off the line. And we're going. We're already at 10 seconds here. We're not even halfway through. This is going to be like a 20-second quarter mile. 18.003. Yeah, super slow. Super duper slow. But yeah, it's got 100 horsepower. It's definitely the least powerful car I've tested as well. But there we go. I tested it. I had to do that. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see as the technology improves, going from like the 50s to the 60s, how much faster it can become. But yeah, let's take this off the car jump arena and see how far it can fly now. Alright, and finally here at the car jump arena in the DS200 Roadster. Roll up here to the launching off point. Yeah, again, this is gonna be the first of many episodes where I basically take the same exact car and then update it through the decades. So if you think that's a good idea, if you like seeing me do this sort of thing, throw a like on this video. I'm probably gonna do it anyway, just because I think it's a cool idea. But I'm curious to hear from you if there's another type of car you want to see me do this with, like, other than a roadster, maybe like do like a regular sedan or like a truck or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, if you have any thoughts on that, I'd be happy to hear from them. Put them in the comments below if you want to let me know about that. Of course, I will also make this available to download from the BeamNG mod site as well. I'll have a link in the description for that as well if you want to check it out. Yeah, and let's see how far this thing can go off the car jump arena jump. I'm guessing it's not going to be far, just because it's not very fast. and it's surprisingly heavy. But we're getting up to 125 miles an hour off the jump, so not terrible, but oh, just eking out over the 100 mark. Actually going down to like 250. Yeah, it's like the 250 mark, so that's not terrible for this car. And it's all smashed up now. Of course, no roof means it's whoever would be driving that is probably dead now. But yeah, that's a 1950s roadster with a 4-cylinder engine. Gonna have to update this for 1960, and maybe not the immediate next video after this one, but in the near future, that's what I'll be doing. But overall, I'm happy with the way this thing drives, and I think it's a good car. It's not the fastest car, but I think it's a good car, and I think that's important. Not everything has to be the fastest. But yeah, if you enjoyed watching this video, throw a like on it. If you want to see more of what I get up to in automation and BeamNG, I just crashed it. If you want to see what I get up to in automation and BeamNG, just subscribe to this channel. I'll be doing a lot of that coming up. And I hope you enjoy the rest of the day or night that you're watching this. I'll see you in the next video. All right, bye.